Marcy Geller here, host of Square Peg Chat. Welcome. I see you guys are starting to tune in. So I'm just going to take a deep breath and let everybody get settled. Hope everybody had a beautiful Monday so far. I have to say mine was rather lovely. And I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. No, I don't want to be cautiously optimistic. I am feeling optimistic, plain and simple. So welcome. Hope everybody is doing well. For anybody out there celebrating, I want to wish you a happy day 2 of Hanukkah, right? Today's the second day, yeah. Starts at sundown, and it's down here. I don't know if you're tuning in from West Coast, maybe you still have some sunshine, but over here we've got the darkness, so it's day 2. And it's really cool because a group of friends and I went into the city yesterday to do this kind of annual excursion that started a few years ago. It's become a tradition for me and my husband and a bunch of our friends. And I call it Jews Do Christmas because I'm sort of like the instigator and tour guide, and I'm the only one who kind of knows their way really around the city. So, and even though I'm not a practicing Jew, I am of the Jewish persuasion, at least racially and culturally. So it was really lovely to go into the city and meet with friends, and we did some fun things that I'm going to be talking about later. Well, maybe we'll talk about it sooner than later. I'll give you a little bit of a hint that I've been talking about how we're going to do a video for one of my songs off of the new CD, Only Love Matters. It's a duet that I did with David Buskin. And I went up to his home with a dear friend, John Tobacco, on Saturday, and we shot video for Only Love Matters with David. It was very awesome and exciting. His house is magnificent. His wife's house, I should say, is really beautiful. And David is just he's just one of those legendary musicians who's just also a really kind, good person. So it was really fun to be in his presence and to recapture some of that magic that we created when we were in the studio doing the CD. So I'm excited. And then yesterday when we went into the city with our friends, we did some more video shooting. So stay tuned and be on the lookout. If you're not on my mailing list, it's up there, right? Yeah, sign up for my mailing list because that's how you can stay in touch with me and informed, and that's how you'll find out when the video is going to be released, and I'm really excited about it. So there's that. So I wanted to thank you for tuning in. We've been doing this since tank top weather. It's not tank top weather in New York anymore. And it's been pretty reasonable, I have to say. For somebody who's really not somebody who goes for cold weather, I think that it's been very manageable for me, the weather that we've had up here in New York. And it did get colder today. I got the cowl neck on with the sweater over it to stay warm. But I'm not complaining. I'm feeling really good. It was really lovely to be in the city yesterday and experience just the magic of the holidays and the good cheer and, feel safe with so many people all around you. You know what I'm saying? Which leads me to the topic for tonight. I decided that I really wanted to publicly reinforce, not just for you guys, but really for myself, that the concept of peace, it can seem very unattainable. And I've always had this optimistic view that it's entirely possible. And I can say for myself that it's been a struggle lately to feel like it is possible. Oh, and I forgot I should put on my little thing on the side. Oh, hi guys. I'm sorry, I wasn't going to say a long commercial. Okay, so we're done with commercial, right? You guys see me? Yes. I forgot to put the little bar. So now I can see what you guys are saying. Sorry about that. I'm going to assume that the commercial's over. Somebody give me a high sign. I don't know. I'll just keep talking like I always do. So this notion of peace, where was I? That lately it feels very distant. You know, I wonder within myself, you know, if my belief is wavering at all, and I don't want my belief to waver. Okay, I got a message here from the husband who's the co-producer, so let me see what he's saying. I'm funny. Okay. I don't think he was talking to me, but that's okay. I always say this like little philosophy I had, that each one of us walks as an example of the earth, the planet, the world that we want to live in. And I really, really believe that. I really believe that if I'm walking around angry and nasty and cursing at people on the roads during, you know, rush hour, that I'm contributing to that kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? And I've been really conscious of trying to be more responsible for the energy that I emit out into the airwaves, because I wonder if perhaps collectively we are experiencing so much turmoil that maybe it's that energy that we're putting out there that's inspiring all these horrifically violent acts. And, you know, I don't like to get like super political here, and that's not my intention, but I needed to talk about it, you know. It makes me really question how we can ever figure out a way to get along when it's so deep and it's so rooted in so many different philosophies and religions and beliefs. So I decided that I wanted to just kind of talk about this, because it's important to me. It's been weighing on my mind. It's been in my dreams, you know. So I decided that I was going to be brave and put out that little, you know, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. I know it's, you know, some people think that that's really corny, but I happen to think it's one of the most profound song lyrics that have ever been written, because I do believe it begins with me. And I'm not saying that I'm holding myself accountable for all that's wrong in the world, but I do hold myself accountable for how I affect the world, and I want to be better at it. I don't believe that one person can heal all of the pain and all of the hurt out there, but I do believe that each one of us can heal ourselves and the people, you know, and then put out healing energy towards the people that we come into contact with. So yes, I see somebody agrees with me. And I'm not saying it to get this validation. I'm putting it out there because, you know, I do have these experiences where I'll be driving and someone will cut me off on the road, and then I go into this, like, you know, this anger mode because I can't believe that somebody is that rude. And I've decided that what I really want to do from now on is, rather than get angry at that person, I want to find kindness in my heart and send them good energy, because I have to assume that if somebody is so, I don't want to cast judgment on it, if somebody can't let you in when roads are merging, then there's something, they're having some kind of pain. They're having some kind of challenge that they're wrestling with. And I don't want to contribute to it by being the person that, like, rolls down my window and curses at them, you know? Because then it's just a cycle. It's like, they cut me off, I say something nasty, then they say something nasty bad. Maybe we're not paying attention, we cause an accident, somebody gets hurt. I don't want to be a part of that anymore, you know? I want to be a part of what's good here. And I think that there is so much that's good. And I think that's why I'm glad I'm talking about this today, the day after I had this really fun time in the city with people who I really care so much about, because we got to have this shared mutual experience, and we got to see so many people. I mean, and you know, the place was a zoo by Rockefeller Center with people from probably every nationality you could possibly imagine. And it's so funny because I was talking about this today with somebody. Well, how did you get video shot? Like, didn't people keep walking in front of the camera? And I said, you know, what's interesting is nobody walked in front of the camera. I think, first of all, we were all singing. And so I think that people were like, oh, something is happening here, you know? So I think that once they connected with this idea of something happening, I kind of felt like there was like an energy that surrounded us, and nobody walked in front, nobody pushed or shoved, nobody tried to get in the way. We just kind of like shot our little video and got the tree in behind us, and it just felt really special. And you know, I know a lot of people who don't live in New York. I don't know if anybody watching right now is not from New York or has never been to New York. But I know that when I speak with anybody from even like another country or another state that's never been here, there's this idea that it's like this really, really scary place, and there's just like murderers on every corner. And that's just not what it's about at all. I mean, do terrible things happen there on occasion? Absolutely, maybe more frequently than is necessary. Well, all terrible things are not necessary, but you know, I feel like during the holidays, it's the one time of year where the city feels kind of warm and cozy to me, anyway. So this is my thinking process. You know, I do this with you guys every week. I sort of pick a topic and sort of explore my own psyche with the hopes of maybe shedding some light on something for myself, and maybe connecting with something that you're feeling or struggling or experiencing. And this whole idea of peace, I really believe that if I'm going to be optimistic that we can create peace on this planet, then I have to stop being the person who gets angry and reacts to somebody that I view is causing harm in some way, you know, whether it's emotional harm or physical harm. I have to find a way to make peace with that. I have to find a way to make peace with my past, you know. I think that that's something that a lot of us struggle with, you know, like this one did me wrong, and this one cheated me, and this one lied, and, you know, and we carry these memories and these scars into our present day, and they're not badges of honor, they're weights, you know. Oh, I see we have a commercial. All right, so I'm going to, since this is video and it is going to get uploaded, I'm going to recap a little bit, I guess, until somebody tells me that there's no more commercial. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I want to free myself of, not me. Oh, okay, so you don't have a commercial, so we can keep chatting, right? I want to free myself of these weights that I've been carrying, you know, who done me wrong, you know, that, you know, I talked last week about the 10th grade teacher who told me that I wasn't pretty enough to be, you know, an entertainer, and that I should pick another field. So, you know, I can laugh about it now, and I can also sort of be horrified that, like, somebody who was in the position of being a teacher has that kind of responsibility on young minds could, like, do that kind of damage to his psyche, because they did. And I guess as a grown-up, my responsibility is to decide, do I want to keep being wounded by this person from how many years ago who has no impact on my life whatsoever? Do I really want her to have that much power over me? And taking it a step further and going along with our topic tonight, can I forgive? Can I send her love? Can I imagine that for a teacher to say that to a child, that perhaps she must have been in incredible pain herself, and can I find heart for her And instead of being angry, just extend kindness to her. I don't even know if she's alive anymore, for all I know, you know. But that's it, you know. If I can't take something that innocuous and make peace with it, well then, how can I expect the whole planet to? So, I have something in my throat. Hang on one second. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. I'm thinking, you know, the whole let it begin with me is really about taking full accountability for how you are going to respond to people, especially when they do something that you don't like, or something that makes you uncomfortable, or something that makes you angry. You know, how are you going to respond to them that's not going to feed the anger, and not going to feed the negativity, and not going to feed this dissension that we have? So I'm opening up the floor. I would love to hear from you guys if you have thoughts about this. And as you know, I say it every week, I am not positioning myself as anybody's guru except for my own. So I'm not sitting here trying to spew philosophy that I'm expecting anybody to adopt. I just want to open up a dialogue, because these are the things that I think of, and these are the things that keep me up at night. So I figure if you're so generous to take a half an hour every single week out of your life to share with me, then the very least I can do is want to hear everything you have to say. Even if you don't agree with me, that's okay too. So please share your thoughts. I'm going to take another slurp here. I'm going to try to be quiet, because we know how annoying that mouth noise thing is. But I got something going on. It's that time of year, you know, the heat's on and it's cold outside, and, you know, invisible things get in my throat. Okay, so no thoughts. No, but doesn't. I mean, I know somebody said that they agree, but do you think it's possible? I mean, do you think that it has an impact? Do you think by you adopting a philosophy of peace, do you believe that that will have an impact on the world, on your world, on anything? I'm really curious to see if you guys think it's crazy, or if it's a premise that has some merit to it, because it's something that feels very real to me, and it's definitely, I'm not sitting here claiming that I've mastered it. I'm at the beginning of the journey, you know. I'm at the beginning of figuring it out. Commercial for 1minute and 58 seconds. Dang, that's unreasonable, people. All right, so that's going to segue me into one of my Marcy commercials. I am trying to save up or manifest enough money to make this a pro level web chat that would be commercial free. And in order to do that, it's expensive. It's like $100 a month. So, you know, I know a lot of you guys have been making donations and giving me tips at the end or during the web chat. If you are so inclined, there is a tip jar below me. If you can help make this happen so that we don't get 1minute and 58 second long commercials. Jeez, that's really, really rude. So I'm going to go to you guys, because you're now saying stuff. Everything you do affects everything else. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And, you know, it's that whole concept of the ripple. Like, you know, if you put your hand in the water here in the ocean, that ripple that you send, it affects the other side, you know. And I you know, or the butterfly the butterfly whose wings flap, and that little shift of air affects everything. You know, it just has this continual impact. And I do believe that each one of us has an impact. I know that sometimes it's easy to feel very insignificant and small, and there's nothing wrong with that. But know that you do matter, and you do have an impact on everything, pretty much. So I'm still struggling with this issue. I'm right there with you, you know, and I would say I'm sorry, except that I think it's a good place to be in when you can acknowledge that there's a struggle rather than denying it and rather than pretending like everything is hunky-dory when you're having this thing. You know, and you know, I'm not going to pry. You guys don't have to reveal your things from the past, but I know I've got stuff that I still carry with me that impacts how I perceive the world. And I think that that's key. For me, it's about the perception, because reality is negotiable. You know what I mean? Like, the way you perceive something has a lot to do with what you believe reality is. And I think that that's part of why our planet is so divided in so many ways, because you can take the same issue and have two fairly intelligent, passionate people with heart who believe completely opposite of one another. And that always fascinates me. It's like, how does this person see things so completely differently than I do? And that's part of this journey for me, is that I'm trying to acknowledge that I don't have to agree with everybody, and everybody doesn't have to agree with me to find a peaceful existence. And maybe it's not possible. I want to believe that it is, because I can't imagine what the point is if we can't ultimately figure out how connected we are. You know, don't you think? I think that we're all connected. Even the most unlikely people that you can't even fathom how they get out of bed in the morning because their way of lifestyle is so contradictory to the way you lead your life. We're connected. I believe that. I believe that there's this, I mean, well, look, let's face it, in essence, if you want to get scientific, we are energy. We are compressed, dense energy that appears to be solid. And energy, when you break it down and break it down and break it down and break it down and break it down, you know, down to atoms, and then the photons and the neutrons, and then they have the quarks now that are like this, they think are the smallest thing. I don't know that there's a way to define one quark from another. I think they're all the same. I think we're all made up of the same stuff. And I know that that's hard to comprehend, because especially when you have somebody in your life that challenges you and you just can't even agree on, you know, what color the moon is that night. You know, like there's always going to be that person in your life that just sees things completely differently than you do. Can you rise above your own need to be right and your own ego and allow them to just be who they are? So let's see, we got a big comment. I think all you can do is impart what you have learned to others. Let them take it for what it is or not. I think peace only comes to you from within you. Everyone has a different pace and will find the peace they need in their own time. Well, that's pretty damn profound. And from my perspective, pretty on the money, you know. I think that's the whole point of the whole let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. You know, it's about aspiring to that state where there could be the most unbelievable chaos going on, but somehow through it we have our own peace, our own eternal peace. And somehow, if we keep working on our ability to be that peaceful being, that maybe it's infectious, you know, maybe peace can be just as infectious as hate, maybe more so, you know. Is it possible that we can take all of our good stuff and spread all of that instead of how different we all are, you know? So I always end our web chats with a song, and I thought long and hard about which song to do, and it would have been really easy to do Only Love Matters, because that's been so prevalent for me the last few weeks now that we decided to do this music video for it, but I want to save that. So what I decided to do was a song off of my last CD. The last CD was Open Book, and the song is called Awakened Mind. I know it's my mom's favorite. I don't know if mommy is watching. She might be. I don't know if she hasn't quite figured out how to do the chatting yet, but we're with you, Mom. We're gonna help you until you figure it out. So I'm gonna do Awakened Mind, and in a nutshell, the song was birthed in my brain when I was walking through the halls of MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and I could look at this painting in front of me and feel the energy and the emotion and the heart and soul of the artist literally come through the canvas and envelop me in this energy. And I was very taken by that because I think as a musician, it's sort of instant. When you make music, you kind of get instant feedback. But with art, for me, I always say I consider something art when it stops you. And I got stopped a lot that day, and this song came to me. So I'm going to put this out to you guys. This is called Awakened Mind. I walk these rooms in silence, and I hear the brushstrokes of the past as you color words with your perspective. They obscure the truth you made rest, where you captured time to see. I can feel it through your eyes, and I will travel across the constellations, awaken mind. I feel my heart race as I journey through your jungle and into your fire, and the scars you left call my own love with the present tides of your desire, where you captured time for all to see. I can feel it through your eyes, and I will travel across the constellations, awaken So let me just read. It still won't let me chat. It did let you chat. I'm reading that. All right. Too much peace would be boring. You need to have things shake you up once in a while. That's pretty funny. Well, I'm talking about exciting peace, not boring peace. But whoever said it, let's see, Anonymous 10821, it says, it will not let me chat. It is letting you chat because I am reading what you're saying. So you are chatting. So if that's you, Mommy, You have been successful. You have chatted. It says it still will not let me send, so here I go again. Yes, see, I'm reading this. Mom, you did it. Good job. So listen, guys, we've come to the end of our 30 minutes. I want everybody to go watch The Voice or whatever it is you're watching. Thank you for sharing this time with me. My name is Marcy Geller. I hope that you will sign up my mailing list. You'll get a free MP3, and you'll get to hear when the new video is going to be released. Thank you for spending this time with me. Lots of love, lots of peace, joy to all of you. Thank you. Bye.